Let's start the comparative analysis from MTN Nigeria turnover and profit after tax. But comparatively, in 2021, the turnover was around 1.65 trillion naira, and in 2020 you have about 2.01 trillion naira, with a change of 21.64. Profit after tax 298.6 billion. And in 2022, you have 358.8. As it is on the screen. Earnings per share, 14.67 kobo in 2021, and in 2022, 17.63 kobo. Profit margin there's a difference, 17.58 kobo in 2021 and 17.91 kobo, with a dividend of 5.9 kobo in 2021 and 10 naira. In 2022 financial year. Ambrose, where do you start?
Yeah, I would say this is a good number for MTN. It shows that they have capacity. The first Nigeria company to post a 2 trillion turnover in the history of our market, and they keep to the market less than 4 years. For me, it's a good one. I'll say thumb up for MTN. Also, if you look at their net profit margin, as you just said, about 17.9% against 17. We tell you that this company is also well run. With that huge fund, they need to make profit margin. That means at least now in every 1 naira of their top line, about 70 kobo is retained as earnings. We know that sector is highly cost intensive. If they can retain such, tell you that this company is well run. For me, it's a good one for investor. And the good thing is that it didn't leave investor in dark. After growing their top line and bottom line, good dividend also monetary from this number. For me, it's a good one from 5.90 kobo, final. I want to talk about the interest that paid now. And this time we're seeing 10 naira final again against the 5.90 kobo. For me, it's a good one for MTN, and that shows that where the company is heading. I believe investors in this company, unless you have made profit, you can. But for me, for those that income investors, you can still go ahead and get the board. For me, look at the dividend yield is about 4.41%. for dividend yield because the price is selling. This right. Thing again, we need to look at all the things, but that's why we say banking sector remain the most attractive for investors, because there you have good yield. Now with all this good result, because the dividend yield is just below 5%.
So it looks like the technology, or let's say telecommunications, right? Yeah. Looks like it's giving a very good competition side by side with the banking.
Yeah, not really, but since they came on board, since they came on their saying they have shining, and also they have
because I've not seen any bank or commercial bank posting this type of revenue in 1 year in their financial year reports.
Yeah, no, in the market, no bank has posted.
But the question would be looking at what is driving this revenue. You have course, but when you look at it, because you're saying Nigeria can spend money as much as this, because where are they getting it from? It's
no, outside. One thing you know that there's a kind of a change in lifestyle.
Yes.
Before now, if you want to go to Ibadan, you need to be on the road. You need to travel, but now you can on your phone, on your Zoom, do the meeting. You have to pay for it, and that's why they say this would have made life easy for us, and we are paying for it. Today, you don't know when you charge your card. When it finish, you don't have control over your charge. They say it's finished, and they are the one in charge. And I believe that for me, that set or that mode of business where it is now, I think it's the well position for investors to look at, because that's the way that MTN hitting 500 naira, in the moment from now, people say, I still tell you that stock can hit 500 naira in the next 1 or less than 1 year, because if they maintain this kind of earnings, nothing stop them.
Okay, let's look at the next one, Julius Berger earnings. And if you look at the turnover for 2021 compared to 2022, it looks like there's a change of 29.98% there, with profit after tax has gone up as well, with from 8.34 billion naira to 9.45 billion naira in 2022. Profit margin at 2.14, 2.14 there. So talk to us about Julius Berger.
No, if you look at I said it there that there's a lot of opportunity in the infrastructure sector, and where Julius Berger is one of the key players there. As far as we're having infrastructure problem, this company will continue to work to have business to do. You can see that about 440 billion for turnover for the year 2022. For me, it's a good one, and we're having about 9.something billion at the end of the year. But you can look at also, that is why you see a low profit profit margin.
It
tells that cost of operation, in that industry, the equipment, the for me, if ideally the cost management there is still very, very poor, they need to improve it. Why I say so, because if you are making about 440 billion naira at your turnover, at the end of the day, after your tax, I think just 9.something billion, and you need to do more. That's why your profit margin is below 10%. I think they are, but for investors to be sure of this company, you have seen their earnings. It's earnings that determine what your payout. If you have seen their earnings above 5 naira, that means possibility of you having dividends of 250 to 10 naira is high, depending on their payout and also the decision of the directors.
I'll ask you a question, because we're looking at how did they arrive? Because if you look at from revenue, the total turnover over 400 billion, and then profit after tax settled at just a little bit above 9 billion. So you're wondering, is it the operation overhead cost, expensive, and all of that? So why we're having it? But we don't have time. But let's quickly look at industrial medical gases earnings for 2022. Turnover went off from 3.7 billion naira in 2022 to I beg your pardon, from 2021 to 5.34 billion naira in 2022. Talk to us about industrial medical gases.
Actually, if you look at the nature of these natural resources, I think their business should be the one that is flying. Today, you can see that what is costing, with the war in Ukraine and Russia, you can see that gas has become a big business there. If we're able to harness our own here, this one is into gas-related business. I know that gas business, if you're able to just arrange it, you spend less in. Right. For me, it's a good one for them to grow their earnings. That means to support investors pocket.
But how impressive is this?
No, it's a good number. It's a good number. It's a good number that we encourage them to do more. The good thing is that the earning per share is about 89 kobo. From that kind of 89 kobo, we expect to a dividend no less than 70 or 50 kobo, 50 to 70 kobo from them. And that, for me, investors should be happy. Depending on the price is selling. If it's selling around the 7 naira, since a dividend of 60 kobo to 70 kobo or 80 kobo, that is a good deal. That is more than almost 10% in terms of dividend yield. It's a good one.
Let's take this last one before we go quickly. Facing financials of 2022 financial report shows that the turnover went from 30.86 billion in 2021 to 40.63 billion in 2022, with a change of 31.66%. So, and if you look at the profit margin actually declined in 2022 compared to what you had in 2021. So, what happened for facing financials?
The number that they posted, I would say that's a good number. It's not a bad number at all, because you can see that consistencies from 2020 to date tell that post COVID-19, we have seen that this industry has really evolved and enjoying government incentive. Not only that, the company also have expanded because of what getting ready for vaccine production. That's what you are seeing now. Also producing for other companies in the same industry, because of their facility, they produce for some company. That's why you can see that the top line is about almost 40 billion. For me, this number is good for for fixing, and this will also support their payout and their price. That means if you are in this kind of stock, don't need to panic unless you have your own investment objective.